After Stitzerland, Piero drove through, took the lead in the slipper. Gate holders months ago, and Piero won it from Stitzerland and Samarini.
Piero, that was quite abrupt. Piero winning the 2012 Golden Slipper. Beaver, what's going on, mate?
Yeah, nice win. A couple of good horses there, wasn't there?
It was, yeah. First few all went on to do good things. Let's talk about the Golden Slipper. Who are we? We are Pro Group Racing. Show us your tips here to twice a week give racing tips for both the midweeks and Saturday meetings. And tomorrow's a big one, a $3.5 million Golden Slipper from Rose Hill. Unfortunately, Beaver, it is torrential in Western Sydney at the moment. Anyone watching?
Yeah, it's not good, is it?
No, anyone watching the footy at Bankwest, it was underwater there, and obviously Rose Hill's not far away. So not optimistic, and fingers crossed at this stage it even goes ahead. So I'm working on a heavy 10 if it does. Rail is in, it was soft this afternoon. It is heavy now. Rail +3.
Heavy 8.
Yeah, more rain on the way. It was bottomless, I think, 2017 Golden Slipper when She Will Rain won. I played a little bit on pace that day. So I'm obviously sometimes hard to make ground when it's a bog. So wet trackers fit and on pace, the order of the day. I found it a tough meeting to really stamp too many. How do you approach the day, and how you think the track will play if we're on?
Yeah, look, really concerned that we'll even get on at the moment. The track's heavy already. It's possible that, again, we're going to get more rain tomorrow, and they're tipping even more on Saturday. Yeah. So it's the outlook is not good, Daggy, and I'd say they may even err on the side of caution and choose to run a Golden Slipper on a better weekend and just push all these races back a week. But time will tell, and we've got to give some tips just in case they don't. Yeah. So I've approached it as you said. I'll probably don't want horses getting too far out of their ground, and obviously horses that can handle the wet to heavy tracks.
Yeah, they obviously want. They obviously are reluctant to call off $1 million race days, but they did with the Doncaster a few years ago during the championships and ran it on the Monday. I don't know if we'll see that with no long weekend this time, but we'll plow on anyway. No point speculating. Let's get into the meeting itself, and with the caveat we're on, and there's not too many scratches. We kick off with the listed Derby Munro over the 1,200 metres. Nice race to start the day. Pretty good. Do you like it first?
Yeah, it was a good race to start the day. Would have been a cracking race in the dry, but it's not in the wet. Look, I've gone for Private Eye. I think the first 4 starts his prep have been tip-top. Looks like it handles the wet track. Little bit worried about drawing the inside, but might be okay being it's the first race of the day. Probably pop off the fence. They'll come wide, so it should be helping it. So I'm going Private Eye around the $4 mark.
Yeah, nice. I went looking for the ones that are up and running for fitness, and that brought me back actually to Andermatt. Both runs in the heavy have been good. Beat Volpine, who's since won, and I think on debut at Kembla. Second at Rose Hill to Anders, just missed Anders when it was flying on a heavy last prep. Up and fit, and third up, I'm just going with the fitness edge, which with that and Doubtland, I'm forgiving Doubtland, who is struggled a bit in the dry track. The last start, it was the leaders Rose Hill, so I just forget about that one. Might be able to find a little bit of form, but around $8, I like the each way on Andermatt. And on the lead was 50s in the same race as Andermatt and cross the line next to it, so might be the big overs there. Private Eye, very honest. Joe Pride, very good with wet trackers, and just specking the lack of fitness and no trialist prep. So we'll see how that plays out. The one I'll ask you about is Isotope. You're the Queensland guru here. How do you rate it?
Oh, look, I think it's got a very good chance in this race. Lost the rider last start, so look, you got to put a line through that, and prior to that, one had a couple of pretty impressive runs. Appears to handle this thing out of the ground. It's a very good chance. Hard to beat. I just think Private Eye might just get a bit better, sit closer to the mark, and might be just a little bit too good in the going.
Yep, tomorrow's we find out what level Private Eye's at, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Agree. The 1.5 mile Manion Cup. This will be a slog in the wet, where I will spec. Quick thinker, actually. Third up, won the Derby on a bog prep before last, to get in double figures. I think it'll run really well here. Probably the best wet tracker in the race. I sort of came to the conclusion. Did take on Sacramento in that Derby. Started shorter than obviously Sacramento's found a new level since. A little bit concerned about it in the wet. And the Australian debut of Collide was nice enough. People didn't miss it, and just not sure how second up over 1.5 miles in a bog it's going to go. Obviously, the Norton roulette wheel is the Willie Haggis horse, who I found it pretty hard to draw a line through at all. How do you look at the race?
Yeah, look, I'm going to spec a favourite moon, the International Invader from GB. Look, I think this is a pretty open race, and it's really hard to line up these horses, particularly in this going. Sacramento, a bit of a question mark for me, similar to you. And that for that reason, I've gone the European horse on the basis that this horse has had both its wins on soft going overseas. So, look, I'm hoping that it likes to sting out of the ground and it'll be suited. So, as long as it's fit enough, could be there at the end.
Great. The Group 3 for the girls birthday card stakes over the 1,200 meters sees Written Beauty back from the Group 1 and Group 1, the Eduardo race, I should say, and a few coming through. How have you looked at this one?
Yeah, another good little affair, like the race. Plenty of chances and plenty of value. There's two that seem to be dominating the market. I've gone for Written Beauty to bounce back. I don't really know what to make of its last run, but I'm not willing to rule it out based on that run in what was on a pretty good form race. So I'm going to speculate that it will handle the going. It's done that before, and the knockout horse for me is I Am Eloquent. So 2 out of 2 in the heavy. First up, if it's ready and fresh, around the $15 mark, I think that's a really good chance.
Yep. I Am Eloquent jumped off the page at me too. That was my knockout. I've got a bit of a sick feeling with Glenn Boss after Guineas last week again, but it was a knockout for me. I didn't really like the race. Emanate started $1.80. Volpine beat at home. Volpine does get through the wet and might have a lead on knees. Not quite sure it's the level of Written Beauty of those, but just saying maybe position running and track condition might be in its favour for a fit and up and fit horse. And then the obvious two are Emanate, who started $1.80 against Volpine, and Written Beauty, who came out of the Nature Strip Eduardo race, which I think will be backed because that was obviously track record and hot time. So I think people will find Written Beauty. But yeah, same roughie, which is interesting. Race 4 is the Group 1 Ranvent over the 2,000 metres, a clash of Adib and Very Elegant again, the old sparring partners from last autumn. How are you going to split them?
Very Elegant for me.
Okay.
It's obviously a race in 2. We know how good Very Elegant is. It's come back better than ever. I think the last 2, the first start run was outstanding. Last start just kept attacking the line. It's just an amazing horse that just doesn't give in. The wet track's not going to hurt. And for that reason and that reason alone, I'm willing to play Very Elegant.
I'll go the other way only because DB is 2-0 over Very Elegant. They did meet on a heavy last prep as well, where it was pretty dominant actually. But I don't know if, a great race to watch. I don't really like stamping either because they're both world-class horses, especially on the wet, and cracking race. But I'll just lean with the Deeb to make it 3-0. The Group
Matt, I don't mind betting in races like this one because you're pretty much going to get even money either horse, and this is a dead set 2-horse race.
Yeah. So there's no
so
knockout
even
here, is there?
there is no knockout here. There's only 5 horses in it, and one's at 200s, one's at 50s. Master of Wine has a bit of ability, but these are definitely only 2-horse race. So if you can pick the winner, you're doubling your money.
Yeah, you're betting on a toss of a coin, essentially, really.
Yeah, that's right. Which is not bad in some races where you take $4 shots that have got 10 in the field.
Yeah. So, good. I'll probably take Black Figures a deep, actually, but we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out. I can't imagine either of them starting much longer than what they are now, but we'll see if the market balances out to 50% each. The 2000 Rose Hill Guineas is another Group 1. Interesting race. We see a lot of Melbourne form starting to flood through. The heavy track makes it extra interesting, if not maybe a bit perilous to bet into. How'd you line these all up?
Yeah, tricky affair. I really struggled, to be honest. I thought it was really hard to get a line on Lions Draw. It was good last start, and was good last preparation. Probably a bit over the odds last start. Montefilia, I didn't think was too bad first up. Finished off okay, and even horses like Wheelhouse and Luna Fox aren't without a chance. I did come back to Moonga. I thought it was extremely unlucky last start when finishing second. Appears to handle the wet going. Gets the right barrier here. Should get the right running, and I suspect with the heavy track should be presented with a run at some stage in the straight.
Yeah, it was hard to miss in the running home in the lead-up race, the Randwick Guineas. And both of them came from essentially last on the leader's track. I've just got a feeling Line Draw might not be a full-on wet tracker. So I'm sort of taking that on. I thought Wheelhouse was one of the runs of the race in that Guineas. It was the one that sat 3 wide and dragged the other 2 into the race, and was still pretty close in the finish. The Pieros go all right in the wet. All that being said, I end up going back to the other one. I end up going back to Montefilia. Goes fine in the wet. Was good. Hard to miss in coming through the fillies form there. I know I bagged that form all the way through, but was not given a chance in that race. Was, I think, $10 into about nearly start a favourite on the day. And just away from the boys' form, I think you might be 1 run too soon, but she's the one to beat in the Open.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And happy to about $5. Happy to play here. Second best result will probably be, like I said, Wheelhouse. I've just got a feeling Waller might have it ready to go. In the back of that.
Yeah, I just Montefilia. I tipped it first up. Second up worries me, and stepping up to the 2000, 1400 to 2000 on a heavy track, I suspect it needs another run.
No, that's fair, and all fair comment too. The rider is the 4th Group 1 of the day, over the 1500 meters. Another tricky affair here, especially given the heavy conditions. Were you able to split these up? Obviously, Villis returned really well. He's now 100 years old. How'd you look at it?
Yeah, well, I'm going to back the 100 years old. I thought its first up run was pretty good, loomed up and finished off okay. That suggests to me that still got some life left in the legs, and certainly doesn't mind the sting out of the ground. Its wet track form is probably the best in this race. Fun Start goes well as well with the sting out of the ground, but I'm leaning towards Avilius about the 450 mark.
Yeah, the obvious starting point, I think, proven Group 1 horse. Has had a little bit of not a lot of luck throughout that last year or two where it hasn't run as well. The one over the odds for me is Dawn Passage. I thought it was an okay return without setting the world on fire on the bog in the Golden Eagle. Just missed behind Colette and Ice Bath, and I think potentially the 4-year-olds could be the fresher ones here. It and Juniper, both in the mid-teens. I'll have something on Juniper. Pretty good Sydney record, actually. Not a bad wet record. And obviously we're speccing first up 1,500 metres on a bog, but just looking for some different form. So Dawn Passage and Unipal outside the obvious ones you've put a case for. And Arcadia Queen out. That's correct, isn't it?
Yep.
The Group 1 Golden Slipper, 3.5 mil over the 1,200 metres for the 2-year-olds on a bog track. Very interesting now. Do you want to lead away with your thoughts in this race? Or?
Of course, you'll throw me under the bus. No, look.
Do you want me to go first?
I'm going to stick with... No, it's all good. I'm going to stick with Profiteer. I tipped it last start, went too hard, but stuck on really well, and I was super impressed with that. And I probably liked it more after running second than maybe if it won. So for that reason, I'm going to stick with Profiteer. It really, it's drawn well again here. The wet track, it has one on the soft already. Is it a true wet tracker? Not quite sure, but you're guessing a little bit with all of these horses, to be honest. And that makes it the challenge. My main danger is 4 moves ahead. Thought it was being pretty good its first 2 starts. Certainly can handle the wet, so that's not going to be an X next to its name. It's drawn a little bit wide. If there's something finishing hard and other horses getting tired, it could well be 4 moves ahead. So Profiteer to beat 4 moves ahead for me.
Yeah, I'd been with sort of the Rolls Royce in the garage all the way through the Blue Diamond with Artorius. Fantastic trial in Sydney. Now really nervous off the freshen up into a heavy 10. We'll still have it in my numbers. I'm going with 4 moves ahead after I sat and pondered everything. I like what you said about Profiteer, but Nash sort of box seat run according to the Racing New South Wales map. Shouldn't be too far away. Does have I know it is Kenzo, but does have the big win on the heavy on debut. Looks like a really nice mover, and I've defaulted to it to be the last girl standing, I suppose, from Artorius. Not Swift Witness, Stay Inside will improve with a better run back to the wet track here. And I thought Swift Witness was the best knockout. Just a really good run against the bias at Rosehill a bit back. Profiteer with the other one that goes into the quaddie for all the reasons you've said. Yeah, 13, 3, 8, and 14 for me in the Golden Slipper. Cracking race. The 1,100 metre Galaxy Group 1 here. We see, again, freshies. We see some up and goers. Do you want to lead away again?
Oh, you can have a crack for once, mate.
All right, I will. Sorry, I feel bad now that I keep throwing you in first. Eduardo done wrong. It was tremendous last start. Broke the track record, beat Nature Strip pretty much on merit. Handles the wet. J Pride trains the wet trackers quite well. And last time on a heavy 9 wasn't far off G-Tra. Before that, it beat Flit. $7.50 great each way bet here for an up and runner to beat one of my favourite horses, Hortbury on her, who's trolled fantastic. Get through the wet. Just got nabbed by G-Char in that same race on the heavy last time. If she was probably second or third up, I'd probably have her on top. They're the 2. Best knockout for me in the 20s is Splintex. How about you?
Mate, I've gone Talia.
Okay.
And I've gone Talia purely because its wet track form is pretty good in this race. Outside of Jungle Edge, which we know goes well on the wet, but it's getting a bit long in the tooth now. Talier's had 4 starts on the heavy for 3 wins in a second and 1 out of 1 on the soft. Loves this track, enjoys the distance, got 51 on its back, so it's got no weight. Eduardo's got to give it 7 kilos, and in the heavy going at Rosehill over the 1100, I just think that may be too much. And that's probably the reason I've ruled Eduardo out. And I think one of the main have to give a shout out to Easy Eddie, Trent's horse, who was very unlucky last start. $26 has to be super hard to beat. But I'm really struggling to find anything that can beat Tallier if all things go according to plan.
Yeah, I'm not a huge weights sort of person, but on these bog tracks, you tend to find the ones down in the weights do tend to bob up here. So I guess I better add that to the quaddy. The opponent's stake.
Yeah, Wild Ruler, I love as a horse. Think it's outstanding. Just not quite sure on the heavy track at this stage.
Yeah, the Schnitzels tend to go okay, but undecided. Yeah. And I think Snowden's scratched it a few times from heavy tracks, so we might not even see it. I think he's protected a bit from there.
Yep.
So we could see the same thing. Let's wrap up the day with the opponent stakes over the 1900 meters for the girls. And I'll lead off again just for you. 2 for me here. Again, talking down in weights, I'm going to go the fit backup horse, Welsh Legend, won last week. Pretty soft, drops in weight, and pretty much gets a nice branding run, not too far off the pace here. So on top again for me to beat Outback Diva, who just wasn't in the right part of the track to be competitive last start, but goes all right in the wet. And they're the 2 I'll finish the day with. How about you, Beef?
Yeah, look, I'm going to go for Polly Gray. Thought gets now to its 3rd up run, gets to its peak fitness here, out to the right distance, the 1900, which will suit. Loves the sting out of the track. It's drawn wide, so it just gets everything in its favour here. Carrying 55, which isn't too bad. James McDonald aboard. Look, I think Polly Gray is going to be super hard to beat, just sitting off the pace, powering down the middle.
Fantastic. Do you want to wrap up your thoughts for Golden Slipper Day on the heavy track? Your best, and who's doing the quaddie? Is it me or you in Sydney? Should we rock off?
No idea. You run the show, mate.
Oh, no. I should have kept notes. I'll do it. I'll do Sydney. Go and give us your best value while I pull up some things.
My value bet of the day comes up in race 9, number 5, Polly Gray.
Yep.
And my best bet of the day comes up in race 8, number 13, Tallier.
Yeah, good. I struggled to really stamp a best all day, but I really like let's call it the best value bracket. Back both Horbury on her and Eduardo in the Galaxy, and I think you'll get a result. The quaddie in Sydney will make it 2, 8, 9 into 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, and 14 into 1, 4, and I'll throw Talia into number 13. Come home with Polly Gray number 5, 7, and then 10, 12, and 13. That's the Sydney quaddie on Golden Slipper Day. Check out progroupracing.com.au for their free tips and extensive guides. Plenty going on there as we head towards the championships. Plenty of news stories as well, some form comments, and some of their experts provide daily tips. So check them out. And we will head to Mornington for the supplementary program. Somewhat less enthusiastic meeting, but we do get good track racing with the Rail True. Mornington can favour on paces, and the locals tend to come to the fore a lot on these sort of days, locally trained horses. You keen on a meeting?
No.
Yeah, fair enough.
Not overly at all. Look, I'd much prefer to be betting in Sydney. It's pretty tough. Tough affair. But I found a few there to have a look at and have a bit of few bucks on.
Well, hopefully we can kick off in a winner with the Godolphin horse Micro in the first in the sires. Race 1, number 1 was pretty good coming through the Flemington race, chasing home Lightsaber. I think it'll run well here in a tiny field, but hopefully get us off to a decent start. Any thoughts yourself?
No thoughts there for me.
The second over the 2,000 meters, I thought was a trap race, so I left alone.
Yeah, I didn't have anything there myself either.
The third over the 1,200 meters, benchmark 70. What do you like here?
Yeah, I thought this was another tricky affair. I thought Incredulous Dream trialled really well. And it was pretty good first up last time, and just died on its fitness, but did have a really good win at Caulfield, I think, beating Yes Baby Yes. And I think if it can be ready to go first up, and it seems like from its trial, finished second in its trial, that it may, then could be really hard to beat.
Yeah, back in grade. The two I sort of at a price, well, Garvok's one of the favourites. I think coming through that Boom Boom Becker race at Sandown, Will Improves had no luck its last two starts. And I think Arigato back at home, hopefully a little bit closer to the pace, might be hard to catch around Mornington. So that's the two for me in this race. Race 4, benchmark 78 over the 1,200 meters. We've got a shorty here who's also in for the Valley. If it runs here, we don't really need to talk too much about this race, do we?
No.
I think if it's here, Marabai wins.
Yep, and if it's not, who knows?
Yeah, exactly. 1,000 meters, similar story here. Without the moral, I don't know. Do you have an idea on this sprint race?
No, I thought this was a really open affair with too many chances for me to find anything with any confidence.
Yeah. Yeah. Generally, my thing is to default to the different form. So the Tasmanian horse might be the way I'd play that, if at all. The Mornington Guineas over the mile is race 6. This is an interesting little race here. Any thoughts?
Yeah, look, I like Dom to shoot. Came here with some reasonably good form from WA. And then first up at Flemington, I think it ran 5th, not too many lengths off Tagaloa, in a pretty good race when, pretty expecting the market. Look, last start, it wasn't overly impressive, finished towards the tail of the field, but that was in the race won by Luna Fox at 150s and Cherry Tour Tony, which didn't do much odds on. So look, you can put a line probably through that race. It was a bit of an interesting affair. So I'm going to get back to its WA form against what looks to be a pretty light on field here, and suspect that it's got a bit of ability. And that it was set for a race like the Mornington Guineas.
Okay, cool. I'll just go with a bit of fresh blood. The lightly raced Peter Moody horse, I know he's got an opinion of it. Vidiano, soft win at Pakenham to set us up for this. Might be a horse he could end up in Queensland if all goes to plan. So just going about $8 each way play for me. And I think Let's Crack a Deal is a talented horse. First up 1,600. We'll see how it goes, but was in Derby conversation for a lot of last spring, and I know it's not a great Derby, but coming out of that first up at the mile, again, reasonable price. They're the two I'll play. Two much better races now. The Mornington Cup over the 2,400 meters is the feature of the day. I believe this is for a ticket into the Caulfield Cup, or it used to be at least. And we might have a moral. Are you thinking that?
I think so. Look, if we know how good the Sydney form is going down to Melbourne, particularly in the staying races, and Mount Popper's form, first two runs this preparation have been very good. A lot to like about this horse, and I think it's on to bigger and better things in the Mornington Cup.
Yep, not much to add. If it's here, it wins. If it's not, I love Irish Flame. Probably just missed last start and will run well again here. And we know how well Defibrillate is going. So I guess they probably all you need for your quaddie if you're not going one out. Same again in the Hariba Stakes, the other feature of the day over the 1,200 meters. I think if Ancestry doesn't run on the Friday night, it comes here and wins this. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I tend to agree, but I don't think it'll run here. I think it will go to Moonee Valley.
Okay.
I think they probably think it suits. It's a bigger and better race, and they probably think Moonee Valley suits it more than Mornington.
Yeah.
Just my gut feeling. And Brooklyn Hustle's probably the same. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't start here and starts at the Valley. If that's the case and both of those horses are out, then I'm going to lead to a horse such as Labour Odd. I think it could be hard to beat. It's currently $9.50. Won't start that, of course, if the top two come out, but you probably get $5 anyway, and could be the hardest to beat in this.
Yeah, the overs in the race for me is outrageous, around $16, $17. I think it's a great each way play. Good fresh horse and a little bit of a tail on this race, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
And we'll finish up over the mile with a benchmark 78. Another very open affair. I'll play again through the Sandown form we've been a bit familiar with. Into Imperial Lad, if it is on pace, he's going to be there and run very well with Pikey in the last and Merchant of Venice, who beat at home last start. They're the two back and both each way, and I think that's the way I'll finish the day there.
Yeah, I was the same as you. I thought that's exactly the way it lined up. I went for Merchant of Venice, just in front of Imperial Lad, like they finished last start. But yeah, back both and hopefully get home with a win.
Fantastic. Your best and value and quaddie at Mornington.
Yeah, look, my best is race 7, number 7, Mount Popper. And my value bet comes up in the last, race 9, number 13, Merchant of Venice.
I have exactly the same numbers, which worked for us at Sandown on Wednesday. We nailed, I think, both the ones we agreed on. So, yeah, rinse and repeat for me. I've got Mount Popper and Merchant of Venice. Give us a quaddie.
Give you a quaddie. All right. My quaddie is in the first leg, numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. In the second leg, numbers 3, 4, 6, and 7. In race 8, hard to know because there might be a few scratchings here, but I will go numbers 1, 3, 4, 10, and 11.
Mm-hmm.
And to finish, I'm going to go, sorry, I just got a bit confused there, numbers 3, 6, 9, and 13.
Cool. So tough day at Mornington to finish off. But yeah, might get a couple of splits there. The Group 1 William Reid is on at Moonee Valley on the Friday night. It's a cracking race, actually. Have you had a look at this?
Yeah, I have had a look at this, mate. A couple of good races there on Friday night. I did find a couple. Race 7. Look, it's a bit of a beauty, actually. Really keen to see how a horse like Masked Crusader goes down in Melbourne. First 2 runs this prep have been good. We've talked about Ancestry that'll probably lead them up. Libertini returns and drawn super wide, but it's good ability. I'm gonna forgive September Run.
Yeah.
I around $5.50. Last night was just too bad to be true. Comes back around the bend here. It's drawn at 12, which will suit. It's going to go back. It's going to come with a bursting run down the middle of the track, and just let's hope that there's nothing wrong with it after last start, and it was just one of those things, and bounces back to form.
Yeah, I think the girls down the bottom have the key here. I think there's a ton of pace with Haydock, Ancestry, Fleet, Pippi. We know how they're all going to run. So just looking for, I think the swoopers will have it here between if it's not September run, Portland Sky is going to run really well again. And Brooklyn Hustle, it might be her turn to snipe. She's just missed a few times in these sort of races. So they're the way I will play that race. Let's just look at the prices now. What price Bella Vella as well? She's not here. She's stayed in Sydney. Okay. Yeah, so cracking affair. Anything else on the Moonee Valley card?
Yeah, I with a few others at Moonee Valley. Race 2, number 8, Munta Sierra. I think it's can win. Then I had 2 others. Chica Furta. Fierta gets its opportunity here to win. Bit short, but should be close and hard to beat. And then I thought it some nice odds in the 5th race, number 3, Sister. Thought it could win first up from the McAvoy stable.
Cool. I agree with you, Chica Fuerte. And just because I always do, I'll mention my girlfriend in good health. She'll turn up again. You got anything Queensland? Is it raining up there? What's the go up there? Still heavy?
I think it's soft up there. It's about a soft 5 at the moment. But they're predicting a fair bit of rain again for up in Eagle Farm as well. So hard to pick some winners. But I did look at the form, and I did come up with a couple. At Eagle Farm on Saturday, I've got race 2, number 1, the Cullinan. I've then got moving on to race 7. I thought number 9, Jacama, could be hard to beat. And then I finished off in the last with the Sydney horse, race 9, number 11, Word for Word. That's gone up there looking for a win.
Cool. The open bet off tonight, race 4, number 4, King Gutho. There we go. There's one for the omen off tonight's effort. I'll mention on behalf of the Footy and Frothies podcast, we've got our footy multi.
You go broke, Parry.
Yeah, I know.
You go broke back and Parry, you know that one.
I know. We got our multi up last week, but my footy multi for the weekend was Latrell to score into Teddy to score, paying $5. That's a good bet against their respective oppositions. Apart from that, as we've said, check out progroupracing.com.au for their free tips and extensive guides. Give us some feedback. If you found us on YouTube, stick around. 2 shows a week. You can also listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, anywhere you can find decent podcasts. You'll find us as well. Good luck tomorrow, mate. Hopefully, tomorrow by the time this goes out, hopefully the weather's hopefully we're on, so we can have a bet, and we'll catch everyone for the midweek show on Tuesday.
Sounds good.